Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United hosting Southampton in the Premier League. Joining me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Joe Smith. How are we doing?
I'm doing well.
Right,
I actually feel a little bit.
That sort of attitude will get us nowhere.
I know. Well, yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Doing well, doing all right. Yeah.
It is weird as well because on one hand, the last 2 weekends have been very good.
Yeah.
Very good performance against Liverpool, toe to toe. 2 football teams going for it.
Yeah.
We drew the game, arguably should have won. The Arsenal game was a slightly different dynamic, had to show grit and fight and all this, and 2 excellent results and performances. I think we've won 1 Premier League game in the last 6 weeks.
It is mad.
We are still in really poor form.
Yeah.
In the Premier League in particular. We have to turn it around.
I've noticed because when I've been basking in the glory of our win and draw in the last 2 games, you've had haters who said hang on a minute, let's not get too carried away because usually rival fans rather than United fans, you drew at Anfield, okay, it's still only a point.
Yeah.
You didn't win, and all right, you beat Arsenal on penalties, so what? But it's hard not to feel excited and positive after the performances.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it's been 2 very good performances. The big sort of issue or question mark, despite those good performances, seems to be around strikers. We seem to, listen, super proud of Joshua Zirkzee without being patronising for what he did against Arsenal, taking the decisive penalty and scoring it. But let's not kid ourselves. We are struggling for goals, and our strikers in particular have struggled, not just recently, but the season in general. The goals don't seem to be coming. Do you think that maybe those performances from the team, the fact we have, scored a couple of goals at Anfield, I know it wasn't strikers, the fact we've just beaten Arsenal, could that perhaps help these strikers, do you feel? What's going on there?
Confidence will definitely get the best out of them.
Yeah.
And if we can start building the confidence. My only worry is, I know Zirkzee will get a bit of confidence from scoring his penalty, and that clip of him putting Saliba on the floor will do the rounds, and that'll go a long way. But it's only, if you go back the day before the Liverpool game, Joshua Zirkzee was literally, his last appearance for United at that point was being booed and then cheered off. That, it's not been long since that happened.
No.
And Rasmus Højlund, again, despite the fact that we've had these 2 very good performances and results, he's not been great in those games. He's not scoring goals in those games, or he certainly doesn't feel like he's hitting a prolific streak. So it's weird. It's like everyone else will get a big boost. The likes of Maguire, Ugarte, I think De Ligt and Martinez will have the huge boost from these last couple of games. Yeah. But our strikers, weirdly, won't. Maybe Bruno Fernandes will. I know he's not a striker, but I do worry about the goals. That's still a big worry for me. Joshua Zirkzee will have had a bit of a boost, like I said, but it'll be a very fragile confidence. We need to start building slowly, scoring goals, sharing them around the team. We know Bruno can chip in. We know Ahmad can chip in. And again, even Ahmad, who's been our best attacker this season, isn't prolific. What's he got? 3 goals? 4 goals? Not, certainly not tons. Yeah. So it's all very much hanging in the balance. What we really need is another striker, someone who can score 20 plus goals a season. Zirkzee's not capable of that and never has been, and we shouldn't expect him to be. Ahmad could be one day, but again, never has been. Rasmus Højlund could be one day, never has been. Garnacho could be one day, never has been. The only proper sort of goal scorer that we've got in the team is Marcus Rashford, and 3 of the last 4 seasons, he hasn't been either. So we're not just going to turn these players into, I don't even know, just world-class sort of poaching number 9s who get 60 goals a season overnight. But if we can get a bit of confidence going, which I know is the next topic, that will bring the best out of what they have. Yeah. And that will hopefully be enough to bring us up the table. But we do need another striker at some point, don't we?
Yeah, you're right. We do. I get the feeling that Rasmus Højlund might be the sort of the modern day Dion Dublin or something, in the sense that he's a striker that comes in, is good, but he's not quite what we need. I know Dion Dublin got injured, but then the next signing was Eric Cantona, who's the striker that moved us on to another level. I'm just wondering whether it is going to be Højlund who takes us to that next level, or leads the line as we move to the next level, or we are going to make another signing. I'm beginning to feel like it might be another player that comes in does that, because Højlund's still young, and I'm a big advocate of giving players time. And I think one of the sort of issues we have in modern football is people sort of go, oh, he's 22, what's he achieved that he's done? You think, well, hang on a minute, he's still only a young guy, and he has scored 16 goals in a season. But I do worry a little bit that he's not going to be that guy for us.
Yeah, it's a shame for him as well that he's had to come in the circumstances he has. We've been terrible. He's just been chucked in whenever he's fit. What he needs is another striker to learn from, and I've said this a couple of times, but he shouldn't be starting every week as our main number 9 with no one better than him on the bench. He's 21 years old. He was 20 when we signed him, and we just went, yeah, you do it all now. That's not right, is it?
No.
Like, in what world would that be fair? Like, you mentioned, I think on the podcast, Chicharito was an example of a younger striker coming in. When he arrived, we had, what was it, Van Persie and Wayne Rooney in front of him.
2 of the best strikers ever.
On. And then Højlund is the Chicharito, even, he's not the same type of finisher, not the same type of play, but just in terms of situation. And imagine we'd just gone to Hernandez, go and win his league title as the main striker. It wouldn't have happened, and he probably would have been crushed by that pressure. So I feel sorry for Højlund. I'm not giving up on him by any means, but we need someone else to come in front of him for now. He's only 21 years old. It might be another 2-3 years before he's ready to lead the line. We can't wait, but at the same time, I don't think it's fair to crush him and his kind of confidence just because we can't do very well in the transfer market. It's not fair on him. I feel sorry for him.
No, you're right. I was thinking about this. I think Berbatov was at the club. I think it was Berbatov and Rooney, and then when Chicharito came in, and then Van Persie got added. So there was all sorts of options anyway when Chicharito was knocking around. He certainly wasn't thrown in, like you say, straight in there. And one thing I think might just work in Rasmus Højlund and to a lesser degree Joshua Zirkzee's favour is with the whole Rashford situation. Well, Rashford's on his way out. Yeah. If United don't buy another striker, then it's kind of like you can at least say to Højlund, look, you're going to be playing. Yeah. You're not going to get him loads of rotation and you drops, because there was a bit of rotation, wasn't there, at first? He came in, he got a couple of goals and he drops again. So he at least can take some comfort from that he's going to get a run in the side. And if he doesn't score, that's not it, well, that's it, you're out of the team, whatever. He probably is going to be leading the line for the rest of the season, unless United surprise us on the transfer market. You talk about confidence. Look, whilst the results have been positive, the performances in particular have impressed me, and I think that is one reason why, just as a fan, I'm feeling confident. You can imagine the players are getting a lot of confidence from that, because going to Anfield and getting a result and scoring a couple of goals ain't easy. Just ask Erik ten Hag and ask basically every United manager post for Alex. A lot of them have struggled. I think it's only Van Gaal, I think, who had a really good record there. You look at go to the Emirates as well, another ground we've struggled at, yet we've got a positive result from that one as well. These are performances and results where the players can maybe sort of take a little bit of comfort from that, and a bit of belief as well.
Certain players who really need it as well. The back 3 in general, Maguire, all of a sudden everyone's talking about him like, not that he's the best centre-back in the league, but that he is a very good part of a functional back 3, that we've kind of found his place again. And I think, obviously, as Yoro develops and steps into the first team, maybe that will be the end of Maguire. But certainly between now and the end of the season, or injury dependent, I expect Harry Maguire to be our starting centre-back of a back 3 that is capable of going toe-to-toe with the top teams in England. Yeah. And who would have thought we'd be saying that 18 months ago? Like, I'm really impressed. And Martinez the same. He had a bit of a blip, he had a bit of a dip. Last couple of games he's been excellent, especially against Liverpool. Not just the goal, I thought his whole all-round performance was brilliant. De Ligt, the same. That goal line clearance the other day, just his general performance, again, was very, very good. And another player that needed confidence, and I think should have got it from the last couple of games, is Kobbie Mainoo, who was getting a lot of stick and criticism. Does he work in the system? Is there a place for him? Does he have the legs and the pace? Well, maybe he doesn't, but when you put him alongside of Ugarte, he sort of makes up for that a little bit. And then you see the best out of Kobbie Mainoo, which again, against Liverpool, he was exceptional the minutes that he played. And I thought against Arsenal, he was very good as well. And further up the pitch, I'm going through everyone basically, but Bruno Fernandes is hitting a stride of form, and people are starting to appreciate him again. And these things matter. These things go a long way. You can see a 25% boost in performance almost overnight with a bit of confidence. Obviously, the overall quality and being able to maintain those levels is another question. But we can see bigger, better things from players very quickly once the ball starts rolling in terms of confidence. So they've got to keep it going. And if we can get Ahmad back on the score sheet, or I know he scored recently actually, so maybe Højlund and get Zirkzee going and get Garnacho going as well, then who knows where we could end up. The confidence is absolutely massive.
This is the game to do that as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, let's not kid ourselves. If you had to pick a team to play when you're feeling confident, when you want to get goals, it's Southampton. I know we'll get to Southampton in a minute, but no, I completely agree. Confidence makes such a difference. We've seen it in the past with United teams. We've seen United teams that, remember when Ollie came in and he didn't make that many tactical changes when he was caretaker, but all of a sudden the team got a bit of confidence, got a bit of belief, got a bit of happiness. and just started battering everyone and winning every week and getting results that just seem beyond them. When Jose Mourinho, who's arguably a better manager, I think he is a better manager, couldn't get a run going together. With all that being said, then let's get into Predict 11s. Before I ask for Predict 11s from you though, Joe, get your phones out. Film yourself in landscape for 30 seconds or so, giving us your score prediction and send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com, and then we'll use that as part of our pre-match build-up for the watch-along. So do send that in, because we'll want to get your opinions, your thoughts, your score predictions, and we'll use that as part of the watch-along.
A few new faces on there as well in recent weeks, so keep it up. Thank you for everyone who sends those in. It makes the show even better. So, cheers.
It does. Right, Predict 11s. We'll start with yours.
Yeah. It's a couple of tweaks from the last game, but I think we're starting to learn our best 11. I brought Onana back in. I know Bandy had a good game, but I do think he's the cup keeper. Back three is the same. Dallo obviously suspended, or presumably suspended after the red card. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So I brought Malacia in there. But other than that, I think Mainu Ugarte needs to keep playing. I think that Bruno Fernandes needs to keep playing. I've kept Højlund in. I know Zirkzee had a good spell in that game and ended up playing close to an hour or more than an hour after or around an hour, with extra time. But I do think that Højlund suits how Amorim likes to play a little bit more, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a change there. But otherwise, keep it the same. Let him go again. Let him build a bit of momentum here. Like we said, the confidence is so massive, and that comes from playing together, understanding each other's movements and runs, and doing that week in, week out. So as fewer changes as possible there.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Obviously, this is predicted 11, and I was torn.
Just one difference.
There is one difference, but I'm going to change that.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm going to change it as we're speaking.
All right.
I just feel that whilst I agree with everything you've said, there could be a couple of players who maybe need a breather, which was my thinking about Højlund. I know I said earlier Højlund will keep getting games, and I think he will. I just feel like he's ran himself into the ground, Rasmus Højlund. He really has, and maybe this is a game where you just bring him on for the last half hour.
I almost feel though like, if I'm Højlund, I'm thinking, give me this one.
Yeah, because it's
I've had
such
to fucking fight Saliba for an hour and a half,
and
whatever it
Virgil
was.
van Dijk, or whatever.
Virgil van Dijk. Can I not play this one?
I understand you thinking
but
there,
I get your point.
and I did wonder. And even if Dalot wasn't suspended, which I think he is, I'd be tempted to rest him because he did very well at Anfield, but he's played a lot of minutes. Again, there's times when he looks a bit knackered. And I also, at first I was going to go with De Ligt, but I actually think Yoro might start this game.
Yeah,
I do. I'm going to change that.
De Ligt's someone that at times it's worth giving him a minute out, because his injury record isn't bad. Yeah, but
so I'm going to change that. Forgive me from the one I originally went with. I think it'll be a back three of Martinez, Maguire, and Lenny Yoro. I think the four across the middle there be Malacia, Mainu, Ugai, and Mazraoui, and a front three of Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, and Joshua Zirkzee. Although, listen, I'm not going to moan if De Ligt does start or Højlund starts or whatever. I trust this manager. I just want us to send out a relatively strong team. I don't think you don't make too many changes. You got to respect this is a Premier League game. We do need a win, and also Southampton, whilst they are rooted to the bottom, you can't just ignore them. They are. I think was it Fulham away they got a draw at not that long ago, so they're capable of getting points in the Premier League. So you have to respect that. Let's talk about Southampton. I mean, are they on course for the sort of the worst performance by a Premier League team ever? Is that
not
within
quite,
their sights?
But not far off.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
so they're not Derby County.
No,
back
there
in
was
the day,
11. Was it 11 points Derby got?
Yeah,
13.
I think,
one of the two. I don't think they're quite at those levels.
Right.
But they are only on 6 points.
Okay.
So they are kind of on for that. So actually, I'll correct myself.
That's kind of like textbook. That is literally.
I'll correct myself.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Derby County got 12 points and halfway through the season, and Southampton on 6. So
they've got a chance of getting the same. So they're not that bad. They've been horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
Some of my family, my in-laws, are Southampton fans. I wonder what it's like being a Southampton fan, because you come into the Premier League and just get battered. They've had, is it 2 9-0 losses they've had, including one against us? Didn't Leicester do it 9-0? In recent seasons, they've had some tough times, haven't they, in the Premier League, Southampton? But at least you're in the Premier League, and there was a time when they were in the Premier League quite consistently under Hasenhüttl. They
conceded 44 goals and scored 12.
I mean,
we have to win. Like, do you know what this reminds me of, Jay?
Go on.
I think the year was 2021.
I remember it well.
Oh, maybe in 2022. Manchester United were second in the league.
Love that.
And we faced Sheffield United at home. who were rooted to the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
They had a similar number of points to the Southampton side, and I said on the preview, we'll definitely beat these. There's no way we don't even need to worry about it.
Yeah.
We drew 1-1. And admittedly, their goal should have been disallowed, and we had one disallowed that shouldn't have been. And the ref said both after the game.
Yeah.
Put that on the video from yesterday. But we still didn't win the game.
No.
So we can't take this for granted. I know I'm talking like a media-trained footballer here, and I'm not. Every game as it comes, we can't take it for granted. But genuinely, fucking batter them.
Yeah.
None of this like, they concede more than anyone. They score fewer than anyone. They're bottom of the league. They might be the worst Premier League team we've ever seen. We have to win and win comfortably. Get a bit of confidence. Like we said, it's the word we've said about a dozen times. We just have to beat them. They're so far behind. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with all that. We do. Let's not overcomplicate it. Looking at their sort of their best players, I think Ty Dibbling is someone we've been linked with.
Yeah.
Very
talented player, Dibbling. But again, he's got 2 goals. He looks good.
Is he their top scorer?
Yeah, he looks too good for them.
Yeah.
And he might be going to be a very good player. He's got 2 goals. Yeah. Like if he doubles that tomorrow,
he's not a prime Matt Letizia, is he? Where you're going like he's someone who could destroy anyone. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but I understand your point completely. Yeah, there's no excuses really. Like we I don't want to hear all the stuff. We have to beat Southampton. Yeah. Like, come on, we're in the bottom half of the table. We've just had 2 big results. Let's move on and let's kick on with a result against Southampton. With that being said, give us your score prediction.
I think we're going to win.
Yeah.
I don't see us scoring loads of goals because we don't score that many goals. Although we might just create enough chances where we do end up scoring goals. I think we'll score 2, and I don't think they will score. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Manchester United. But a comfortable, controlled game where we'll say afterwards, we should have got 4 or 5, but we won't. 2-0.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. I think it'll be a bit closer than most people think. So I'm going to go 5-0 United.
Who's scoring those, Jay?
Well, 5 different players.
Yeah.
Like, no one's bagging an hat-trick, I don't think. I mean, I'm happy to be wrong. But I think we'll have, Bruno will get 1, Ahmad will get 1, Ugarte will get 1, Maguire will score a header. Do you know what I mean? Mazraoui will hit one from 15 yards. 15 yards, that thing? 18 yards.
It is a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing, but that's not a thing that you sort of celebrate. No. Or you won't celebrate, that you comment on.
15 yards screamer.
15 yards screamer, yeah. 18 yards. I think there'll be just, 5 goal scorers, 5-0 win. Happy days.
I'm up for that.
Yeah?
I'll take that.
We'll have a bit of that, won't we?
Yeah.
Listen, I'd take a 1-0. We just need a win. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Don't forget as well to send us your score predictions to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. You're here for the watch along. Who's joining?
Very good lineup. We've got Joe McGrath, Scotty, and Ronaldo with me. So it'll be an absolute banger. Make sure you check it out.
What a great combo.
Yeah,
and also, you can be part of it. So don't forget to send in your score predictions. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Joe, go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. You know where to find me as well. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. This has been a preview. Manchester United versus Southampton. Thanks for watching.